to the pop culture cosmos.
And we're back with another episode of the Pop Culture Cosmos. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. Inside Sports, Fantasy Football, Game Source, and of course the Lakers Fast Break. Lakers latest as well. Truly appreciate you joining us. Again, if you can, please give us that 5-star review wherever you get your podcast, plus a like, a share, a subscribe, whatever you can do to support us right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos is greatly appreciated because, again, we cover the world of pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcast. And we're glad to do so for almost 10 years right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos, indeed. But it wouldn't be a Pop Culture Cosmos without my good friend. He is the mastermind behind Humanican Media. I guess the Plucky Gamer, and so much more. Of course, Topicocalypse, and the show I gotta hop on Thursdays. He keeps calling, dude, are you available? It's like, no, and I'm so mad to not be able to hop on his and his brother's show, which I've got to go ahead and do. It is, of course, my good friend. It is Josh the Great Peterson. What's up, man?
What's up? You know what's funny is that like my brother doesn't organize anything, right? So I get on this like podcast and it's just a mess, man. It's just a pure mess. Sorry,
We're all there once. We were all there once.
I know, but he goes, I want to do a pop culture, something involving pop culture, but he doesn't know anything about pop culture. So that's like so I'm sitting there trying to talk. I'm like, I need to get someone with like who actually knows things on here. Let me call Gerald, and I just keep forgetting to like let you know ahead of time that we're doing that.
Yes, I mean, I want to come on the show. It hurts me, legit hurts me that I cannot be on the show yet. So I will again, if you make that call, I will try my best to be there. I just hope to not be like driving around or ready to leave out the door when you do. So again, you have my commitment on that. Just gotta let me know. But you had a little interesting tale to tell, I think, before we.
Yeah, actually, there's a little bit of breaking news here. So it turns out that so MJ Holdings, right, the company that owns the distribution for trading cards to all the major retailers, all right. So news story just broke last week that they were the reason there's been a lot of scarcity besides the scalpers on these retail shelves is that MJ Holdings was actually holding back cards and using them at their own. They created their own collectible business called GT Collectibles.
So they were holding the holdings holding.
They were exactly. So they were shorting shelves and selling them on their own website, and so they just got in trouble for that. And then Pokemon just bought Millennium Holdings Group, and they're another trading card group, and they're going to be the official I guess shelf stockers for like the big retail stores. So it's pretty much putting MJ Holdings out of business. And then Pokemon also bought up all of the printing, a majority of the printing trading card printing operations in the United States. So they are now in control of all of the trading card printing. So they don't necessarily own like Topps and Panini and all that, but they do have control over where they go and at what speeds they are printed. So really interesting thing, because Pokemon, like in my opinion, like they watched what MJ Holdings was doing. They knew what was happening. They didn't report it or anything. So I mean, is there a conflict of interest there? Is there some sort of business crime that they should be held accountable for?
I don't know. It sounds pretty fishy to me, my friend.
Oh heck yeah, man! We're creating artificial scarcity and all that. Like it's the hobby. It went from being a hobby to a racket, man.
It stopped being a hobby a while back. I mean, when Lego is now advertising for and focusing on adults as opposed to its kids. I saw ads last week for Lego, which I talked about with TJ, the latest Minas Tirith
Yeah.
being what 600 and some odd dollars, 8,000 pieces, whatnot. It it's new advertising. I saw on YouTube. It's not meant for kids. It's meant strictly for adults.
Oh,
The whole marketplace has changed. It stopped being a hobby, as far as card trading, Pokemon cards. It's now investments is what it is at this
oh,
point
for
in
sure.
time.
Yeah, they're like what are those NFTs, non-fungible tokens that were really big back in 2021, I think.
Absolutely. So history, I don't know how we'll look back on this period of time as far as like you said, NFT, crypto, Pokemon cards, the like and whatnot, junk stocks, meme stocks, things of that nature. So the
Yeah.
interesting ways we as humans try to go ahead and advance ourselves monetarily. So we will see what will continue to happen. But it used to be with Pokemon about a game that kids could really get into and enjoy, and I'm
Yep.
seeing less and less of that, which is a shame. But
All trade all kid stuff. Like the entire kid market is no longer a kid market. They don't make toys. Like I think Mattel is like the only company that actually makes like toys for kids now. Because even like Hasbro, right? Like they do, they make premium action figures. You want a Spider-Man toy, you're gonna pay $28 for that thing hanging on the shelf at Target, and don't even get me started on what the secondary market looks like. Like what do kids have to play with anymore? Dirt?
seemingly, I mean, Hot Wheels. I know you got to. If they bring Hot Wheels, different lines of Hot Wheels to go ahead and do trading cards, sports cards, things of that nature. It's all based in box sets and limited numbers and signed one of ones and talked about that. And
Disgusting.
it's now a business. It's a business and it's catering to older individuals. And Legos, like we talked about just a second ago. Legos used to be something that I played with as a kid. You played with as a kid, and now
Yep,
it's
yep.
it's it's just the kids still can't afford it. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
Kids
Again,
it's
just
like they gotta sorry, they gotta go into a room now and watch their dad build Legos. They don't get to do it themselves anymore.
exactly who is collecting the collectibles. It seems
Yeah.
more like the adults are, indeed. But we got a great show lined up for you today. We're talking a whole bunch of good things. Again, if you have thoughts on collectibles in the collectible marketplace, please let us know right down below or at popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. But Josh, so much to talk about this week, including the new releases. Guy Ritchie is on my mind. I know he's a favorite of yours, being a Guy Ritchie super fan. And I want to hear your thoughts honestly about Guy Ritchie. You might have to confront him, and I'll tell you why later in the show here, just a few minutes. But also as well, we talk about EDC, ravers versus country music artists here in Vegas. The battle this weekend nobody knew about. I'll go ahead and talk about that. Josh will have an MCU review, the week in video games, including the highest rated video game of the year and more, plus the mixed reaction to Mandalorian and Grogu. Is it going to go ahead and spell doom for Mandalorian and Grogu this weekend? We'll go ahead and talk about that as well. But first, it is the box office. I did want to go ahead and give a shout out to Michael, which in its third week, I think, or fourth week, 24 days in weeks in release. So it's in its fourth week, fourth
Dang.
weekend, 30% decrease domestically, but it gets the top spot at $26 million. I guess it got back into a few IMAX and the high-end digital theaters. So it gets the top spot. Devil Wears Prada 2 finally gets out of the number one spot. That's down 57%, had a hard third week as far as it's concerned. It's now, Michael, over $700 million worldwide. It is now number two overall for the year behind the Super Mario Galaxy movie, which is still inching and crawling its way. $964 million, Josh, for Super Mario Galaxy, whereas Michael is at 703 million. So I don't know if Michael will get to the range of Bohemian Rhapsody, which was over 900 or around $900 million worldwide. We'll wait and see. But a success story for Michael. I mean, whatever you want to think of it, for a straightforward documentary type movie that this is just telling you in many ways, educating people on the height of Michael, as we talked about a couple weeks ago. A big win for Michael, heading back to number one, at least before the Memorial Day weekend. And it should get a good bump up from what we see in Memorial Day weekend as well.
Hey, color me impressed, man, because that's I did not foresee this movie climbing that high. Like we're in a whole nother category now with this 700 million. But hey, we also need to hand out a Zero to Hero award, right, to the old Mortal Kombat 2, which just crossed $100 million.
True, but it did drop 65%. That's a Marvel drop, a Marvel-like drop in its second week, a 65% drop, but it does have over $100 million. I still don't know if it's going to get a third. I don't know because of the second week drop. We will wait and see. I would like to see a Mortal Kombat 3, but I'm not dying to see a Mortal Kombat 3. Pardon the pun there, but we'll wait and see, my friend. But it was a popcorn flick. It was a nice popcorn flick and I'll leave it at that with Mortal Kombat 2. Obsession is something I don't know if you've heard about, the latest horror flick, the latest low budget horror flick, Obsession. It earned better than expected numbers, $16 million. Now, with this movie, remember, $23 million worldwide. These cost a minuscule amount compared to some of the other big budget movies that's out there. But when I consider about Obsession, I want to ask you this: when your thoughts on this, because it's not just about the fact that it's a low budgeted horror movie that's going to do well at the box office or going to make its money back or going to gain a small profit or even a large profit at the box office. It's the fact that it's another in the past couple years for a new line of directors. And I'm going to mention Curry Barker, because a lot of we've seen over the years in the past, this century, let's just put it that way, horror movie directors, they start off with low budget horror movies and then they go and evolve and start doing the projects that they really want to do, or they go on and become big budget movie directors or whatnot. In the past couple of years, we've seen low budget horror movie directors emanate from YouTube and they migrate into feature film directing. This
Like
is
gateway.
yeah, exactly. Curry Barker, this is his second movie to date. This is really his first feature film to date, as far as is concerned. He had one other feature, but this one is first that's really getting some prominence. Your thoughts on this as far as the migration of YouTube channel, I guess, creators migrating into feature film, and possibly Curry Barker, we could be talking about down the road, and others down the road like him, into the directors for big movies in the future.
Okay, so is Zach Kreger and like Lee Cronin, right? Those are a couple ones that we have seen do
He's already arrived.
horror movies. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, this is just case in point, right? So I mean, I think that horror movies are kind of have become the new proving ground for film, for bigger budget film. So yeah, I mean, I can definitely see this being a trend, but if you think about it though, like horror movies are pretty, it's weird because horror movies are hard to make, right? It's
James
hard to
Wan, for instance. Let's go with
James
James
Wan.
Wan.
Yeah. They're hard to James Wan did fast didn't he do Fast and Furious too?
Yeah, he's done big budgeted movies, but he
Yeah,
always goes back to
back to horror.
Saw, Insidious, The
Mhm.
Conjuring. He always goes back to it. But as you know, he goes and the Aquaman movies and stuff like that. So
But
he's gone from small to large.
it's a good way to get your name on the map. But yeah, I mean, horror movies they're hard to make. So I mean, it's a good proving ground, and a lot of people go to see horror movies whether they're good or not, and that's a good way to get your name out. So I mean, it all the math adds up, man.
Well, what I wanted to ask you on top of that is he is a former YouTube creator. And again, this is where we're starting to see YouTube creators in the past couple of years primarily. They're starting to get their stuff put on screen. And as I'm saying that, could YouTube be a proving ground for the director stars of the future per se, not just in the horror genre, but graduating and migrating into other areas of film as well?
Absolutely, because look at all the creative freedom you have on YouTube. You could do anything you want to. Like if you're trying to say you're producing a resume for a new job, right? And you put, you have all your stuff on there, but on YouTube, that's basically what that is, right? You're creating something and saying, look, this is what I've done, and they're getting hired based on that. But also, like, you don't have any studios telling you, hey, you can't make this. So you can push the envelope as far as you want to when it comes to how things look or how things sound or whatever. Like you can create a masterpiece on YouTube, and you don't have people telling you like, hey, you can't do it. So I mean, yes, absolutely. And like this might be, I think we've talked about this a couple times, but this might be a good way to leverage power, I guess. Does that make sense? Because you have these like studios, these people in the studios have been in power for so long, and a lot of the time they're not making the kind of things that people want to watch anymore. So, and then you have the YouTube creators, right? So here we're starting to see I think we're going to start to see a power struggle here. But yes, I do think what you're saying is true. Like it is, YouTube is the new proving ground for directors.
Well, congratulations to Curry Barker. Not only does he have a hit on his hand, I heard the performances really make this film, especially Indy Navarrete. She is just incredible as the girl who becomes obsessed with the lead character because he has this like old ancient mystical wish box, and he makes a wish that his work friend falls in love with him, and she does. I just love the scream on the commercial though.
Oh,
I love you.
I remember seeing a trailer for this one. I was trying to figure out like this. It seems like this premise has been done quite a few times, but I remember specifically seeing a trailer for this.
Again, I just love that last one ending when he goes, "I love you," like he's already in pain. He's just like, "I'm so sorry." I will say this though, it's he's congratulations to Curry Barker. Not only has he got himself a low budget horror movie flick that's been a hit, it's also very highly rated too, Josh. It's got a 77 on Metacritic, which, as you know, is a absolute huge number for a movie, much less a horror movie for a Metacritic score. So it's not only got great critical response, it's gotten a great financial response. So Curry Barker is a new name that people want to talk about as far as directing going forward and seeing what he will do next, whether it's in the horror genre or somewhere else. But just keep an eye on Curry Barker because, again, his name, as you and I know, in the Hollywood circles, he'll start being a name that's being tossed around. That's for sure. That's for sure indeed.
Yeah. Well, so what do you think though? Do you think there's some merit to this idea that we're going to start seeing a power struggle between these like indie creators and the classic Hollywood?
I don't know. Yeah, you will to an extent, but again, Hollywood is trying to find new talent. I mean, Hollywood direct. Let's just go in the directors. The stars and the movie actors to an extent are also doing the same thing. They're also going to be aging out in the not too distant future. But let's just go from a director standpoint. The top directors of today, the Nolans, the Spielbergs, the just you name them, they're all in their, not all, but a lot of them are in their 50s, 60s, 70s as far as is concerned. So in the case of Clint Eastwood, 90s. So it's you have to find new talent from somewhere. And where is Hollywood going to look? Hollywood's going to start looking at the Curry Barkers. They're going to start looking at the indie filmmakers from YouTube. And I understand the traditional route of indie filmmaking, but it seems like the indie filmmaking trope of starting out with a college film and then going into trying getting enough funding to make your own small film, and then it goes from there. That's being translated and transformed into going to YouTube first, getting your name out there, getting a following, and then lining up a deal to make your first few films after that, Josh.
So okay, so here is just some here's a thought, right? Because you have yes, I absolutely agree with you, but I think that these YouTubers already get paid an obscene amount of money. So I mean, are they going to be of the mindset to have a studio head tell them no, they can't do something? I guess that's my big question here.
I think there's still a gap as far as what they make. I mean, not everybody makes Mr. Beast money in YouTube. Believe me, I know this all too well when I do my taxes. That you not everybody makes Mr. Beast money on that. I think that when they want to graduate, a lot of these filmmakers on YouTube, yes, they enjoy the creativity that YouTube gives them and the freedom that it gives them, but at some point in time, almost all of them have the desire to go to the traditional filmmaking format, and in doing so there's a upgraded level of production, there's an upgraded level of expense, there's an upgraded level of cost involved, and also an upgraded level of pay, because I think you still, as a top director, can make more than what you make outside of, again, just a rare few, yeah, on YouTube. Not everybody on YouTube can make those millions of dollars. I mean, even if you've got 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 subscriber following, it
Yeah.
takes a lot to go ahead and reach those numbers that can sustain you for as far as a living is concerned, Josh.
Yeah, no, I guess like I understand that. I just was it's just a weird going from having that freedom to having restrictions, I guess. That's what I'm curious about. I don't know. I mean, maybe yeah, I'm sure nobody wants to say no to Hollywood money, but it's just a
Well,
different.
you as a filmmaker, you as a artist, let's say you did put your stuff out in smaller formats as far as it's concerned, but wouldn't it have been nice for you if a Paramount or a Disney came calling to ask you to go ahead and graduate to another feature, to making a feature film? Because many in the industry, many in life still feel that that is the ultimate goal, is to make films on celluloid and being presented in movie theaters everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, like there's been just all the things, we've heard about all the corruption and all that. Like I don't know, like I'd have to really think about like who I'm working for. Does that make sense?
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, I had my taste of the Hollywood industry, and while it was a small, by albeit it was a small taste, I understand that the movie industry is again, it is what it is, and it's everything a lot of people say it is. From my experience, I get that, I understand that, but there is still no better feeling in the world that, as far as from a creator standpoint, than having something put into a hands of a large audience, to be seen on a 80-foot screen, or to be even seen by a few,
Yeah.
quite a few worldwide on a streaming platform, or a television platform, or a movie platform, of course, as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm sure. I've never been in that position, man, so I don't know.
You and I both, my friend. But I do remember the best feeling that I had in the movie industry was the dailies, that every morning that I got a chance to see, and seeing that those shots develop time and time again. And that was a wonderful feeling, to know that your work eventually would go on and be put on screen. So that was a great feeling. Now, mind you, it was on movies like Double Dragon. So I mean, we'll
We
go
don't
ahead.
talk about that.
Yeah, exactly. So, be that as it may, I did want to go ahead and close out our conversation here with what's going on with the rest of the box office, or means the main parts of the box office. The Sheep Detectives went down 38%. It's still earning a nice keep. A lot of people are talking about good things as it closes in on 60 million worldwide. Super Mario Galaxy movie we talked about, 964, inching closely, ever so closely, to that $1 billion mark. Project Hail Mary is now third. It climbed over Pegasus 2 from China, but in the process got climbed over by Michael. So it's at $667 million worldwide. A big success, though, for this, as it now hits digital. So you should see even sharper decreases from Project Hail Mary as it slowly drifts out of the top 10. The revival of Top Gun, putting back it out in theaters, both Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick, that actually got eighth place, but it's ninth place that I want to talk to you about, my friend, because That was the debut weekend of In the Gray, as far as the concern, and $3 million at the domestic box office. It's not exactly the most successful movie in the world. It was Henry Cavill, Jake Gyllenhaal, but it's the director I want to talk to you about, Guy Ritchie, and you are the noted Guy Ritchie expert, my friend. And one of the things we talk about when we talk about Guy Ritchie, and this is so hard for me to talk about because the fact is that and unlike a lot of people out there, I don't mind that Pedro Pascal does a lot of work. He is cashing in on his name at all the right moment. Coleman Domingo is everywhere right now in the movies and television. Let him get those opportunities while he has it. Same thing with Pedro Pascal. Same thing with any actor. Once you are blessed with the opportunity to work, they should never be faulted for getting the opportunities to work if and where they want to, especially if it's multiple times, because you never know when it's going to end in Hollywood. You never know when your name is not going to be called anymore. Guy Ritchie, his name's been called a lot in recent years as far as a director, all over the place on films, on TV. He directed episodes for the Young Sherlock series, and he did In the Gray, my friend. And he has done, I think, 3 or 4 projects this year alone already, and we're only in May. And you know how much he did last year and the year before. He is quite possibly, if not probably, the most active director out there right now in Hollywood. But is it a case of you're just hitting the dartboard and seeing what sticks, and you're just because nothing he's doing is sticking to the point where it's hitting like it used to, my friend? It just seems to be, what's the Guy Ritchie thing this month? What's the Guy Ritchie thing next month? What's the Guy Ritchie thing this month? It just seems like he's doing a lot and not getting much out of it. Your thoughts, my friend? Again, it hurt me to have this conversation, but I think it needed to be warranted, especially because you and I, we've gone back and forth over the years on Guy Ritchie, but I have appreciated quite a few of his offerings, and then one noted not to. But your thoughts, my friend, on Guy Ritchie, because you are the Guy Ritchie super fan of us, and I know it hurts you when you see his failure, because you can't misconstrue it any other way, of In the Grave this past weekend.
Okay, so let's dive into this for a minute. All right, so with Guy Ritchie films, what I have learned, right, is that you cannot say a Guy Ritchie film is bad without actually having seen it. And I'm not. That's not like a comment on critiquing or anything, but like, to me, like, I always have to sit down and watch a Guy Ritchie film, right, in order to know like what it is. And that's because the critics, like, they're just like constantly bag on Guy Ritchie, and yeah, he makes a lot of lemons, right? Like, a lot of his movies are, he's done a few movies that aren't good. But then he's just but also, like, if you think about it, he's a budget filmmaker, right? A majority of his films cost $60 million at the most. I mean, I know Sherlock Holmes and King Arthur were really, really big budget movies, but usually, like, his movies cost less than 100 million to make. And I think that's why a lot of these studios keep greenlighting his projects.
He comes on time and on budget.
Yeah, so it's like he's a safe bet. And I don't necessarily know if that's a compliment in Hollywood, but Guy Ritchie is a safe bet, right? Because even when his movies don't always make their money back in the box office, but they get people stream the crap out of them when they come out, right? So it's like one of those things where in some way, shape, or form, he does make that budget back, at least.
It's going to take a lot a lot of streaming on In the Gray. I'm just going to take a lot, tell you right now, because that movie tanked.
Yeah, it's funny. I haven't even seen any advertising for this. Like,
I saw very little of it.
I knew that it was coming out, but I didn't know that it was out. Like, I didn't. They don't often put, like, very rarely do they put like the release date at the end of trailers. So, like, I had no idea that this movie was in theaters, and I'm sure I'm probably not even in the minority of people, right? I'm sure a lot of people didn't know that. So this is probably one of those ones that people are going to be like, oh, look, there's a Guy Ritchie movie floating across my HBO Max or Amazon Prime. So it's hard to say the reasoning, man. Like, yeah, he does. Guy Ritchie does make a lot of movies, and he not all of them are great, but also like he's in that weird group of like artists, right? Where like if you're an author, you can put out. Stephen King puts out what 30-40 books a year, and not all of them are great. Guy Ritchie's a filmmaker, and he's like the Stephen King of filmmaking. He just throws things out there. Not all of them are great. Some of them hit, and some of them don't. And it's just maybe yeah, he needs to put a little more effort, or not effort, but like
Well, let me ask you this. That's what I wanted to touch on last before we move on. And that's with, Denzel Washington talking to Michael B. Jordan and talking to other actors about the less is more type deal as far as accentuating that. And I know Michael B. Jordan will be is going to be taking some time off. Zendaya, after her busy schedule of 4 films this year, is going to be taking some time off.
yeah.
And if they want to, absolutely, they've earned it, they deserve it. I understand that, but the less is more concept. Sometimes I think it's effective. Sometimes it isn't. It depends on what projects you choose and choose to accentuate. But should Guy Ritchie maybe talk to Denzel Washington and talk about the less is more concept a little bit?
Again, man, like I don't, because I haven't watched In the Gray. Like it might be something that I really enjoy, because I feel like if Snatch and Lock Stock came out today, the critics would probably hate it too. So, this is dangerous. Right, we talked about this last week with Zendaya, where Hollywood now moves at such a fast speed because of all the streaming and on-demand stuff, that if you disappear for a couple months, like it's very likely that you could get completely left behind.
I understand. I understand. So again, I just wanted to put it out there, my friend. Again, I know as you, the Guy Ritchie super fan that you are, had some thoughts, and I wanted to go ahead and clear. I wish Guy Ritchie continued success, but again, you just have to be concerned because again, he just puts out stuff left and right, and I don't know at this point, is there quantity over quality at this point? At
Yeah,
this point, when it comes to Guy Ritchie.
I think honestly, he just needs to stick to the genre that he's good at. He's making a lot of like international spy movies where he just go back to like a group of criminals doing stupid things. Like that's a guaranteed Richie hit right there. But he doesn't do that stuff anymore.
Well, if you have thoughts on the box office, from Guy Ritchie's lack of success to a lot of the great stuff, Michael returning to number 1 at the box office, or anything that's going on as far as Super Mario Galaxy, can it get to $1 billion at the box office? Just let us know your thoughts. Popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. My friend, before we move on to the video games and other things as far as it's concerned, I wanted to go ahead and ask your thoughts on the mixed reactions coming out of the premiere of the Mandalorian and Grogu. We have not, as of this recording, seen the official reviews posted as of yet because the embargo has not lifted, but it is coming out later this week. Your thoughts on Mandalorian and Grogu, but the supposed mixed reactions from people that have seen the movie already.
I think this movie suffers from what's that thing where like kids feel like they can never impress their parents.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what this movie's suffering from. I think it's the fact that like everybody has a very specific idea of what a Star Wars movie should be. That the Mandalorian, like I hope that it does decently, but it's like it just coming out of the gates, it feels like it doesn't even stand a chance in terms of like critical reception.
I
It's not,
understand that, and I agree that.
yeah,
So again,
it's not fair. It's not fair to I know we've said our fair share of things about Star Wars over the years, but it's not fair to this film.
I'm just going to say this again. I don't know if you can fairly judge it against the other Skywalker Star Wars films, or if you should just base it off of a movie that with as a TV show that's graduated to a movie. I'm still leaning towards that as opposed to basing it off of the Star Wars films from last decade and beyond. I still looking at it that aspect because it is a streaming show with an evolving to a major film. What is the success ratio for that? If it gets 80 million in the box office this next weekend, if you look at it at that point, it's a success. But if you look at it from a Star Wars standpoint, it's going to be the lowest in every turn as far as it's concerned. So I don't know. I don't know what the line of demarcation on success or failure for this movie is, but
Yeah.
yes, we should see reviews all over the place when it comes to what we're going to be seeing. With Mandalorian and Grogu coming up here this week, that's for sure. But just wanted to go ahead and get your thoughts. If you have thoughts, you're going to go ahead and check out Mandalorian and Grogu, please let us know right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos, indeed. But my friend, there's still much more to talk about before we head on out. Still a little less than half an hour. So wanted to go ahead and touch on some things as far as what's coming out this week is in the world of video games, my friend. The world of video games, this is a good release week. Just like we had 1 week last month, or of course with, the great releases that came out that period of week with Mouse PI for Hire, Replaced, and more. This week is going to have a good week, starting off with Forza Horizon 6, my friend, the highest rated game of the year right now, currently 92 on Metacritic. But also, as well, you're going to have later this week big titles such as Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, and also as well Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. And I talked to TJ about the Lego series of video games from Traveler's Tales. I guess TT Studios, as it's called now. I can't call it Traveler's Tales anymore. But when it comes to this release week, this is not even including what if you can get a couple days advance to play 007 First Light, as some people will do. But your thoughts, my friend, on this week, because again, it looks like it's going to be another big release week for video games.
So first off, all right, I last time a Forza Horizon game came out, there were two you know, upgrade for early access options. You had one where it was like you pay $30 and you get to have a few cars. You had to have Game Pass to do it, and you could play the game early, right? So that's what I did with the last one. But now that option's gone. They want you to pay a full $60 to get access to the game early with Game Pass, and you get like one free car for like trickled over the course of like 30 months or something like that. But I feel like after everything that Xbox has put us through this year, like that feels wrong to me. Like do what you did before. Like that's what I know a lot of people that took that option, but now they're just not doing it. So I don't know why. But anyways, that really irritated me. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to play Forza Horizon 4. The Yoshi game, on the other hand, so I played
Horizon 6, you mean?
Forza Horizon 6. Yeah, sorry. I played Yoshi's Crafted World, right? That was the last Yoshi game to come out. And I gotta say, man, like it was fun for only so long. Does that make sense? Like like Mario Odyssey had like a lot going on all the time. There's new ways to do everything, but Yoshi was really just like you're spitting eggs out and using the yarn to solve puzzles, but that's really like that was the whole game. So I don't know who that was made for, well, like adults or kids, but it got really repetitive really fast. So like I'm willing to give this next one a shot, and I probably will, but I'm not excited for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Again, but the Switch 2 in desperate need of titles, just like Sony's in desperate need of first party titles. I guess it's Soros has not done exceedingly well on the platform. Only 300,000 sales in within the first 2 weeks, which is not actually a good sign at all. But yeah, the Switch 2 needs some titles. So hopefully Yoshi and the Mysterious Book can be something that a lot of people can get into. We'll wait and see. But the Lego Batman, Legacy of the Dark Knight. I want to hear your thoughts on this because again, it's more of an open world, Arkham Asylum style game for the Lego series. But we talked about the Lego series as a whole being one of the most underrated games of all series of all time. Just the entire Lego atmosphere, as far as from Lego Undercover, the Lego Batman series, Lego Star Wars, you name it. It's
Yeah.
just been something that I think has gone under the radar for decades now, and TT Games, formerly Traveler Tales Games, has done a fantastic job with it. They have a formula and it seems to work. They tweak it here and there, and for the most part, it still stays good. And a lot of people have been able to get into it and stay with it for a while, like a Horizon games, for instance, as well. But your thoughts on that, as far as my friend, as far as the Lego Batman series, the Lego series as a whole, as far as what kind of imprint does it have in the industry?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I've actually I think I was talking to someone, it might have been you actually. I was talking about this a while back. But yeah, the Lego games, they're fun, and they're neat and they're novel, but at the end of the day, like and this is one of the ones too where there's an original story. Like what I don't understand is when they take they're basically just like redoing movies in Lego style. Like those are the ones I don't quite understand, like why people get so into those. But yeah, I don't know. The Lego thing's been interesting because all they really do is like they just do take what other people have done and Lego ties it, I guess. So I don't
Lego as it.
like it. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I don't get it. Personally, I don't get it because I don't play them, I guess. But like it, yeah, sure. I mean, if it works, keep doing what you're doing, man.
Absolutely. They've got a routine, and we'll see how far it goes. But TT Games, I guess they're not called Traveler's Tales games anymore, just TT Games for short. They do a great job with it, so I'm expecting nothing less from Lego Batman and the Legacy of the Dark Knight as it comes out. I think they did. Oh, yeah, actually, already got a Metacritic score, so about 47 reviews so far. Metacritic of about 84. That seems right in on par with the Lego games, 75 to 85. They just seem to just go right through there. So your thoughts on the Lego series, please let us know. And the week in general. Are you going to be playing Forza Horizon 6, the highest rated video game of the year? Are you going to be playing Yoshi and Mysterious Book or Lego Batman? Let us know your thoughts. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. But before we talk about something else, I wanted to give you a heads up, Josh, as an Xbox individual as well. I don't know if this is on other platforms. I'm assuming it might be. You want to check, everyone out there. But EA is delisting a lot of games, and some of the games that they're delisting are the older Battlefield games. So if you want to get, again, the multiplayers are gone for these. But if you're looking at Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5, Battlefield Hardline, Battlefield 4, you can get them under $2. And in fact, 3 of those 4 titles are under $1, just to let you know, my friend.
This is the big problem with EA though, is that they are constantly just getting rid of things, and this is where the whole like pirating argument kills me, right? Because companies like EA are notorious for just getting rid of games and you never see them again. So that's where I see someone who says like, "Oh yeah, I torrented, not torrented, but is that what you call it now? Like when is that
No,
not
I think it's all been emulation and ROMs.
emulation? Yeah, I got a copy. I downloaded a copy of whatever it is, Beyond Good and Evil, and I just like I that's where like the gray line happens, right? Like if a game is completely gone and will never be released again, and you have owned it at some point, like should you be allowed to have a copy of it like that?
Well, again, if you want to play the campaigns for the Battlefield series, Battlefield 2042, which was a disappointment for a lot of people, that's $3 itself. So yeah, a lot of these games are getting delisted by EA, Josh. But again, well, I think just the servers are going offline as far as it's concerned. So it's making these games irrelevant at that point in time. But I don't know if they're being delisted off the marketplace, but I have a feeling they might be. So if you want to check it out, do it soon as you hear the sound of my voice on Battlefield to see if you're interested. I'm collecting them just to get the campaigns, just to
Yeah,
see,
yeah,
I know they're not great, but it's like 20 hours of campaigns I can get for under $10. So
yeah, because those will, if they ever repackage any of this stuff, the campaigns will probably be the ones that are gone. It's a
yep.
good thinking, man.
All right. Well, what are your thoughts out there on the Battlefield series as far as a lot of the games being delisted or being removed as far as is concerned, as what we're being warned that they're going to be doing, or the big discounts per se, as far as that's happening. So please let us know, popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. But before we head on out, my friend, and before we talk about the MCU review and what's going on in Vegas this past weekend, I did want to get your thoughts on some stuff going on in regards to, well, actually, we'll just go ahead and hit it right now. Your MCU review, my friend, because I want to hear your thoughts. We moved on from the Winter Soldier. We went into X-Men. Which one is it? Or did we go into no? We went into Andrew Garfield Spider-Man last week. So
Yeah, that's right.
where are we now as far as
So we're still in 2014, and we're at X-Men Days of Future Past. I know you had some thoughts on this one. I want to know, because I didn't think this movie was terrible. I didn't think it was great, but I thought, because that this was back in that era. Remember when like all the old properties were like sitting, I guess, still sitting in the starting to sit in the shadow of the MCU, right? So everyone's like, I really wish that these characters could get a chance to finish like the story that they started in the first one 15 years ago. So that was where like I was excited about X-Men Days of Future Past. Like, yeah, this is it right here. And we kind of got the ending to the original. It was a neat mashup, I guess. Does that make sense? It got kind of we got to see the old characters conclude and the new characters move further into the future. Past, I guess.
You say that, and then they appeared.
But now, money can do powerful things, man.
I'll just say this again. For me, the concept of bringing the different X-Men together from past and at that time present was novel. But what they were fighting against was just unimpressive, I should say. It just really, what they were fighting against, and the forces involved were not that impressive that they were going against, and it just did not make for a compelling second half of the movie for me. I just couldn't get into it, man. I just couldn't get into that second half. The concept of, again, having some of the individuals from the previous X-Men movies, and then some of of course the cast from the, at that time, current X-Men movies coming together. That part obviously was something that was really enjoyable to see. But again, we thought that last time it was going to be the last time we saw especially the first generation of X-Men actors appear on screen. But now that's no longer the case.
I had like high hopes for this movie that weren't reached, but because let's be honest, man, X-Men 3 was so stinking terrible.
Oh yeah.
That no doubt. Whoever was like, yeah, Brett Ratner is the guy to direct this movie, like they should retroactively be fired. Even if they've made $1 billion since then, they still need to be fired.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that was just nobody wanted that movie in any shape or form. Like X-Men 2, coming off the heels of X-Men 2, you're like, yeah, they finally got their crap together. And then X-Men 3 happens, which was worse than Bryan Singer's first movie. Like there was nothing at all redeeming about this movie. In fact, like everybody I know walked out of that movie theater like, what in the world is this? Like if Crank 2 had come out when this movie had come out, they'd be like, this is like the Crank 2 of X-Men.
I agree. And again, we'll see what happens as far as the return of the X-Men to some extent, in as far as upcoming with Doomsday. And I'm interested to see how it's integrated too. But at the time, X-Men Days of Future Past was this big, huge gathering of former and then at that time current X-Men. So we will see what happens as the new evolution meets the older evolution of X-Men once again, coming up here later this year in Doomsday. But yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and share my thoughts on that as well. But X-Men Days of Future Past, it was a good idea. It was a novel idea. I'm not going to get you wrong. I just what they were all going up against, Peter Dinklage's, I guess, army and all that. It just it wasn't compelling enough to me as far as a villain standpoint, as far as what they were fighting against. Because obviously the hatred of mutants is a great part of the X-Men pantheon as far as that's concerned, as far as a driving force. But I just never felt that I wanted to believe that the X-Men were, either former or present, were just in that much, danger or peril by what they were being presented against on screen.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was yeah, the Sentinels, right? That was the big threat, but they only showed them fighting those things like a couple of times. Most of it was just like, "Hey guys, guess what? We got Hugh Jackman back."
Yeah, something like that. So they must have backed up the Brinks truck for that one. I'll just leave it at that. But again, if you have thoughts on X-Men Days of Future Past, let us know right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. But where are we heading to next on our MCU?
Oh, next time we are heading right into Guardians of the Galaxy. This will be a fun one to talk about.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree. I definitely agree. It won't be a fun one when we go to Galaxy the Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I'll just leave it at that. But one, yes, a
I
very
still haven't even watched the third one yet. Like I don't know why I never did that. I need to watch that.
Yeah, I think you do. I think you do. That one it won't let you down like number 2 did. You and I I don't know if we're in the minority on that one, but when we get to 2, we'll talk about that. But yeah, if you have thoughts out there on X-Men Days of Future Past, let us know. But before we head on out, my friend, busy week in Vegas again. I will say this, and people ask me, how is it living in Vegas? How is it living in Vegas? Well, I say, again, it's hot, it's dry, but there's always something going on each and every weekend if you want to partake in what's going on in and around Las Vegas in the metropolitan area. There's always something going on either at the stadium, this time the racetrack, MGM Grand Garden Arena, Thomas and Mack, of course, T-Mobile Arena. We've got venues right and left, so there's always something. A convention center, as far as a major convention. Well, this weekend was no pass. This past weekend was no different, my friend, as a very interesting mix. And when there's always when Vegas goes country like it does later in the year for the NFR National Finals Rodeo, it's always interesting because it comes at a time when there's regular Vegas tourism and other things going on when NFR comes on. And this time around, this past weekend was a great, momentous occasion at the MGM Grand Garden Arena for the American, I guess it was at the American Council of Music, Country Music, the Academy of Country Music. Let me get that right. The Academy of Country Music Awards this past weekend. Ella Langley took, and her bangs took like 500 awards seemingly, and this past weekend, and she was, rocking the house and all that. Not a credit card commercial because if you're not into country, all you know her is from the credit card commercial. But she's actually a very talented individual. I'll give you that, bangs and all. Your thoughts, my friend, though, on the American Country Music Awards, as far as concerned, the ACM Awards, as I'll just go ahead and state it, but it came on a very interesting weekend, and I'll get into that part here just as you finish your statements, my friend.
I have no idea what this is, man. Like I thought that it was just they had the CMTs. Like I thought that was the only country.
They've got award show upon top of award shows, my friend.
Interesting. Okay. All
Yes, just
right.
like
Yeah.
the AMA, the American Music Awards. You thought the Grammys was it, but then they got the AMAs, and yeah, they come up with the ACMs. Basically, the ACMs, another musical. It's another thing to put on television. How about that?
Ah, that makes sense. It's weird because like I know country music is huge, right? And like I don't listen to a lot of it. Like I still listen to like screamo and post hardcore and a lot of alternative stuff, but like those are my genres. But also, I noticed someone that listens to country music, they're like, oh, I didn't even know that those genres were a thing. So it's like I know that country's big, especially out here in Texas. I know country's massive, but I just like I'm not plugged into that scene, I guess. So it's like I don't know a lot about. I guess I should know more, but I don't.
And I'm not a big country music fan either, but I do have a healthy respect for that industry and how much of a it has grown by leaps and bounds over the years, and its integration into pop as far as sales and integration onto radio stations. In fact, top 40 stations do integrate a lot of country music as far as that's concerned, from what I hear on a daily basis. So more props to them. But here in Vegas, the country music scene got overshadowed, my friend. And you mentioned alternative. And no, it wasn't by No Doubt at the Sphere, although No Doubt at the Sphere has been a success. Congratulations to them as far as is concerned. It was set on fire by the ravers. The ravers, because rave music, electronic dance music, aka EDM, was on display at the Electric Daisy Carnival at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, because that is the only thing in town, even with a 80,000 seat stadium, that is the only venue that can hold 300,000 people who were estimated to go ahead and travel to the EDC this past weekend. Bus after bus after bus drove by my neighborhood with tons of people dressed in bee costumes and other type of costumes to go there in 100-degree heat, suffering dehydration left and right, and coming back all after all night EDC concerts in the morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. And they took over the strip. Ravers took over a strip, 100,000 strong on the strip, and then migrated 300,000 strong over EDC weekend. It was absolutely every year that they do this. It amazes me because we talk about the economy and where it's at and where people are still struggling, and people, as far as coming in from abroad or coming in from anywhere to Vegas right now, in Vegas tourism, it's a major source of conversation about how WrestleMania, we talked about WrestleMania and about how less attended it was compared to last year, among other things as well. Concerts being canceled all over the country, right and left, because of blue dot fever, which is something we may have to get into at some point in time, because blue dot fever is a thing. But that didn't stop EDC from getting hundreds of thousands of people, my friend, as they just flocked Las Vegas and just went to the traffic alone caused on the major interstate 15, was just absolutely unreal. I avoid the major interstate only one time a year, Josh. And
Yeah.
that was this past week.
You
Or
know,
past
so
weekend.
so my wife and I, we worked with people when we worked at Best Buy together way back when.
I'm gonna
man.
rave, man, while you do.
Yeah. We knew a lot of people that actually worked at Best Buy that would make the what do you call it, the trek out to the Electric Daisy Carnival. And that was all I had an understanding that was massive, like bigger than Burning Man, so like I don't understand it. It's a lifestyle that I don't quite get, but it's huge. It's huge. And like it sounds, from what you're saying, what you're describing, sounds like it's only gotten bigger since back then.
It was huge, and to see them take over the strip and then to see them go and travel the huge traffic, jams in order to go ahead and migrate to the racetrack, the Las Vegas Speedway, in order to go ahead and migrate every year. It's just absolutely insane. I am an EDM fan from the early 2000s and late 90s. Crystal Method, Chemical Brothers. Those are my
Or
jam.
Blade 2, right? That's the name
Yes,
of the game, right? He said.
yes. I just absolutely love it. But again, I would still love to go. My family thinks I'm nuts, but I would still love to go and be part of that at some point in time. My wife just kids me because when where she works, she sees a lot of people come in from ED to the
Oh,
hospital.
I'm sure for things beyond dehydration.
Exactly. So again, if you have thoughts, let us know. EDC trounces the ACM, electronic dance music. Again, if you've never been a part of the scene, just be amazed at what you see every year at EDC. And I'll leave it at that. Josh, my friend, any great thoughts before we head on out, my friend?
No, I mean, I guess we're about to see whether, I was thinking about this earlier, we're about to see whether Mario has the gas left in the tank, right, to cross that $1 billion mark. We got Memorial Day weekend coming up, so if it doesn't cross after that point, I think that's it, right? It'll sputter into just short. But yeah, I don't know, it'll be interesting. I really want to see what movies take off this Memorial Day weekend, because there's definitely some oddballs in there.
Inching up little by little, that it is. So we'll see. Again, your thoughts out there. Let us know what's going on with the Super Mario Galaxy movie and more this weekend for Memorial Day. We'll go ahead and preview it, TJ Johnson and I, hopefully on the next episode, or we'll get you something else that's just as good right here in the PCC Multiverse, as we always do right here for you at the PCC. So for Josh Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the Pop Culture Cosmos. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great day.
Welcome to the Pop Culture Cosmos.